annotations. So we will use a lot of annotations in our projects, especially when you use the frameworks like Spring, Hibernate. We already used a lot of annotations in the controller service deal. Some of the controllers are provided by the frameworks like Spring, Hibernate framework. Some are provided by Java EE specifications like JPA, JAX-RS, and some of the annotations are provided by Java itself, like at override, like functional interface. So all the annotations are almost serve a purpose for other program to recognize it. Okay, so annotations, as the name indicates, is more like a notation or a marker above a class. Okay, so let's do some demo. We will create annotation. Okay, so in order to create annotation, you can just choose annotation here, and you can just give a name. Let's see, we call this annotation any name. Okay, so like a timer, for example. And then you can see the keyword is very similar to interface, but we have this at sign, okay, so in front of it. So then this will indicate this is going to be a interface. And there could be a lot of annotations about this interface, and we can have the most important or commonly used one is retention. Okay, retention is to indicate like when this annotation will be retained. Okay? Means like if we have the building process, we have our source code, we're then gonna have our bytecode. Okay, so after compiler compile, okay, so then the source code or this .java file will become .class file. Okay, and then this .class file will be loaded by the class loader into JVM, which is now it's gonna be in the memory. Okay, so during this process, right, so when this annotation will still be in the code or still be in our program, okay, which could be read by the program. Okay, so then this is the retention, and we can just open it, and you can see here we have a different kind of values. Okay, so we can have a retention policy, source, class, and runtime. Okay, and source means that this annotation will only exist in the source code. So after the compilation, then in the .class, this annotation will be gone. So why we need that is because the compiler can use this kind of annotation. Okay, so we can put like source here. So if this is the case, then this annotation will be eliminated from the class. Okay, so we're definitely gonna have a class. Let's just call it annotation test. Okay, and then we can put this add timer annotation above this. Okay, so this is our annotation we created just now. So after this class got compiled, then this annotation will be eliminated. Okay, so we can just quickly look at the target folder, and we need to firstly build this. Okay, and we can use Maven build, or we can just simply run this program, okay, very fast, and then turn it off, and then go to class and the demo. Okay, and now if I open this compiled class, okay, so then this is our source code, this is the compiled code. See this .class file, right? You can see this annotation is gone, right? It's no longer there. It is just because this timer has a retention of source. If I change it to class, okay, and then same thing, let's build it, and look at the target again. Okay, and you see this now, this class file now has this timer. Okay, and then the next is runtime. Okay, so runtime is indicating here. So that means when we do class loader, then the class loader will still load this annotation. Okay, so load this one. So this usually this runtime is the one that we want to use, because usually for the annotations we need our code or reflection code to read it out. Okay, so that's why we set it as a runtime. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is where can we put this annotation about? Okay, so if we look at our override annotation, okay, here, and then we have a target annotation here, okay, and also the retention is source, okay, and the target annotation indicates that this override can only be put above method. Okay, so we have other element types like field, like parameters, constructor. You can just like indicate various different kind of places this annotation could be in. Okay, it takes a array, so we can have multiple elements. Okay, of this target here. So this is the target annotation. So if we want our method to only be on top of a method, okay, so then we can just put it here like this. So in this case, my annotation timer cannot be put above a class. Okay, see here the compiler will complain. See that it's not applicable to this class, okay, type. So this is the annotation and how to create it, and then two very important attribute, okay, of the annotation. Thanks.